get a goal, it's just the beginning. You gotta sing when you're winning, everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. You gotta sing when you're winning. Get a goal, it's just the beginning. Sing, sing when you're winning, everywhere you go.
Hello and welcome to episode 33 of the Sing When You're Winning, a Fantasy Football League Oddity podcast featuring distant cousins of podcast royalty and a very special guest who we will reveal very, very shortly. Although if you're watching on YouTube, I'm pretty sure you'll know who it is. But waiting in line for the podcast through on this week, it's myself, Jamie, we've got Steve, we've got Lee and Dan. Welcome back. How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Very well, very well.
Good. And this week, everyone to introduce themselves, their name of their team, and in honour of our guest, we're going way back here.
Oh God!
Who was? Yeah, I know. Here we go. Who was your favourite teacher at school, or worst teacher, and why? Very loose link. This one.
They're always a very loose link.
It's part of the entertainment, Steve.
I mean, I thought we should have guessed what your actual loose link was going to be, because I thought it was going to be something like, "Who's your favourite Harry Potter or Graham Potter or something?"
Yeah, I mean, I've never watched a Harry Potter or read a Harry Potter, so therefore that's why I didn't go there.
Well, last week,
Who's your favourite Graham Potter? What's that?
Dan, did you listen to it last week, Dan, or Michelle? Did you listen last week?
Yeah.
Last week's question was, "What's your favourite soccer aid or lemonade?"
Hey,
what sort of question's that?
It was a genuine bona fide question to promote the fact that our sponsors, the tourists, are providing. There we go, get them in. They're providing official kit for Soccer Aid.
So what's that got to do with lemonade? You can't really...
Aid. I mean, just anything. Do you know what I mean?
What do you prefer?
I was to say, do you prefer Soccer Aid or First Aid? Was that? Do you know what I mean?
Or ghosts.
Soccer Aid or First Aid? I think I'd pick Soccer Aid every time. Do you know what I mean? That would have been a silly one.
Do you prefer Putin or Putin out the bins?
I mean, come on.
That's about as close a link as it was.
I love that. Said with a Socrates t-shirt on as well. it's brilliant.
Socrates.
Yes.
So, anyway, what was the question?
I've forgotten myself. Yeah. Teachers, yeah. Best or worst teachers?
Oh, yeah. Right, cool, yeah.
Anyone?
I had a teacher at junior school called Mrs. Langworthy, and she was my favourite teacher there, purely because she picked me to be the Artful Dodger in the school play. And then at senior school, it was Mr. Dixon, who was an English teacher, and he was one of those, he either liked you or he threw a board rubber at your head, one of those. So yeah, but I was lucky to avoid it all the time. He must have liked me, but yeah, two good teachers. And actually, both of them were dead. Like one of those teachers where nobody liked him, they didn't like the class, but I always got on with them. Because I did as I was told. Good.
You always do your homework though, Lee. We know that.
Yeah, he does.
Still to this day.
Yeah,
exactly. The threat of the board rubber being, chucked at my head. That's probably what it was.
Good stuff. Dan, how about you?
Well, I was going to say maybe Lee and I have something in common with the board rubber and the lack of hair. I don't know if there's a connection. We could sue the Board of Education. Yeah, likewise, I had an English teacher, who was an amazing teacher. He saved my ass so many times because I was not a very good student. And he was always really supportive of acting, of being an actor. And every Christmas we had a school panto, and he was always the dame, and he had his own walk down frocks. So he had somewhere in his house, he had an enormous wardrobe filled with panto frocks.
Oh no.
And a few weeks before he could see my professional debut on stage, he fell down a flight of stairs at a party and broke his neck and died. So that's sad.
That's a good turn. That's a good turn, yeah.
What a lovely Friday morning story.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
you're listening to Sing When You're Winning, a Fantasy Football podcast.
Props to Mr. You saved my arse and inspired me.
Well, maybe if he had a big fluffy dress on and some fake boobs, it might have saved him.
That's true, actually. Maybe, yeah.
Oh no, it wouldn't.
I mean, I kind of feel awkward, like, laughing about this. To be fair. Anyway, but yeah, wow. But yeah, he sounds like an inspirational fellow. Anyway, yeah, didn't see that one coming at all. Steve, how about you? Do you care?
Not really. I had a guy called Mr. Liptroy. He was really cool because he liked football, and he sort of did this is like a junior 3 or whatever age you are then, 9, 10 or something.
Yeah.
And he used to play Beatles to us in the class, so that was quite cool.
Ooh, good. That sounds good. That sounds
good. Maxwell Silver Hammer was his favourite song, so he used to play it to us as a treat.
Isn't that about a mass murder? Isn't that about a serial killer?
Yeah, but we can sweep over that.
Tell me a song that's probably not suitable for young kids at school. To be fair, that's good. I can think of one that's sung by our special guest, but we can come on to that one as well. Let's meet this week's special guest, who's been waiting very patiently while we've been talking more nonsense than usual at the start of the show, especially for you. Yeah, she's clocked that, I can tell. So, this week's special guest describes herself on X as an actress, singer, writer, and co-founder of The World Reimagined, which we'll talk about later on. So from graduating out of Grange Hill to life on Albert Square and into the world of theatre, now though at the top of her game as a manager in the Sing When You're Winning League. Let's give a very warm Sing When You're Winning podcast welcome to our special guest, Michelle Gayle.
Hello.
I mean, not like at the top game though, am I? Let's be honest.
Well, you're in the top division though. You're in the top, which is more than some of us on this panel.
Yeah.
But how are you finding this season? Yeah.
I still wake up cold sweat at the fact Ruud Van Nistelrooy took off Dallo in 59th minute where we got a clean sheet with that game. I still wake. So every time Leicester say, there you go.
Saves you right. Karma, that.
I just want you to lose all. This is karma. What did that American footballer say when she said, this proves there's a God? She said before it proves there isn't a God when she got in. I think this proves there is a God now. Because now Ruud Van Nistelrooy is suffering for taking off Dallo in the 59th minute and match. So, you know.
I love that dedication to FPL. So you love it. It's yeah. I mean, I'm still smart enough to when Ahmad had that mad 10 minutes because your mate Cole Lee, I was certain to beat him until that happened, and then my season went a bit weird not long after that. But yeah, I remember things like that, but I don't remember the taking someone off after 59 minutes. I think that's precise. That's good stuff. So let's have a look at your FPL stats, Michelle, so far, thanks to Statman Steve. So you're in your second full FPL and Sing When You're Winning season, although you had a half-season warm-up in 22-23, I believe, to get yourself ready for it. But in your inaugural season, you won promotion from League One. Before the season started. Sorry, what was that?
Championships you won.
The championship.
Oh, sorry, you're on about the bingo thing, aren't you?
Oh, yes, because, you won promotion from the inaugural League One before the season started via the Tombola draw.
I did.
Alongside Andrew Clancy. And the pair, you became season-long promotion rivals. That's a nice story, isn't it?
It was.
But then you saw off your rivals with very few blips to cruise to the championship title last season. And you left the championship WhatsApp group within minutes of clinching the title, apparently, to join the Premier League group. So it was like, no, bye guys.
No loyalty at all there, Michelle.
I was being compliant. I thought I had to do that because Steve sent me the link to the other one. I thought I was doing the right thing. It's not like see you later, taters.
Yeah.
It wasn't any of that.
It was a kind of congratulations to Michelle. She's won the championship.
It's like, hi, bye.
And then before everyone got a chance to go, well done, Michelle, she'd gone.
Go.
Well,
no, literally had. I'd gone
if it's
from-
any consolation, Michelle, I leave every WhatsApp group that Steve puts me in within minutes.
He does,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah. Amazing he's still in the podcast one. but
That's the only
they're
one.
minimum. That's just so you can get the link to this. That's the
That's
only
it.
reason, probably. But this season, you've already inferred this earlier on, but it hasn't been much fun, apparently, because you played your wild card in game week 2, went without a win in 3 months in the autumn. But you did become the form side over Christmas, but has now lost your last 6 matches. And facing a lowly Nikolai Costa-Waldau next, followed by a huge drop zone 6-0 versus our very own Dan as we enter the business end of the season.
Okay, but this is but how many points? If it was done on the amount of points I have, I wouldn't be anywhere near the bottom. Just pointing
That's
that
the
out.
joys of head-to-head, though, isn't it? That is the
But
joys.
I just thought I'd point that out. You know,
Yeah,
that I've just been very unlucky. Like literally, if I've worked out once that if I had the person that was next first, like if it was just one step behind or in front, I would have won all of my games. It was just I've just been very unlucky.
I mean,
But-
maybe that's the thing to do next season. We'll just mix it all up, and you can who you would have played next. Steve can try and calculate that.
She's actually not lying, because Michelle's got the 9th highest game score in the Premier League out of the 24 teams. But
Wow.
she's top of the most points scored against her.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I've always, if I've scored 100, someone has scored 102.
People up their
that's
game
tough.
when they play you, Michelle. That's what it is.
Yeah,
People,
you're everybody's cup
up their
final.
game. Yeah, that's what that's what's happening. You're a victim of your own success last season.
Wow.
But I also noticed Alistair Griffin in the championship. He's in a similar points thing. I think he's in the bottom 3 or bottom 4, and he's got over 1,800 points, and he's the third or fourth highest in the whole league. But
Wow.
he's at risk of relegation. That's your luck.
Yeah,
in
it's
this
just bad luck.
competition. It is.
But I did have extraordinary good luck to get promoted, so
That is
Yeah.
true. But do you
Mixes
think you'll
itself
stay
up.
up? Do you think you'll stay up?
it's up to Dan, isn't it?
No,
I'm not gonna have one
see,
of them
Michelle,
seasons again.
Michelle, this
Dan,
is
I
where
do
you're wrong.
like your lilac shirt. Did I tell you that? I like
You
your
did.
lilac shirt.
However, unfortunately, all the flattery will get you nowhere, because everybody knows it doesn't matter what I do. The gods have already cursed the cursed 11, and they'll all break their legs in the opening 5 minutes.
Yes. It's definitely something like that, for
Well,
sure.
you've changed your tune, because last week you were saying that you always get out of this situation and it's not a problem and you'll
I
definitely stay
do.
up.
I'm rubbish for 4/5 of the season, and the last fifth I just sort of managed to scrape into mid-table mediocrity, and I have done forever.
Like Everton.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shall we have a look at what happened in game week 29 though?
Go on, then.
Before we have more of a
Oh,
chat. Let's
gosh.
look back at what happened in game week
I mean,
29.
it was
with-
horrible. What a pointless week.
Awful.
I
Rubbish.
didn't mind it, to be fair. Got a much needed
Yeah.
win. But over to you, Steve.
Right, we'll start in the Conference League then this week. The two of the highest scores in there were between the two top teams. Pete Martini beat Ben Halliwell 77-64. The next highest score was Joe Singleton. He got a 65 to beat the rock bottom Chris Murray 42. Paul Tonkinson, who doesn't win very often at all, beat Sophie Ridge 44-38
Wow.
and stunned himself in doing so. Other shocks there, as Grace Maloney lost and Natalie Pike lost to both the Hawks boys, Casey and Indy. And they're both right down at the bottom of that table. League table wise there, Pete Martini's top with 64 now. Ben Halliwell has 58 in second. Sophie Ridge stays third in 56 points. And then the playoffs, Joe Singleton 55, Grace Maloney 55, Vicky Sparks 55, and Neil Robertson 54. Natalie Pike outside it now with a 53. And the bottom two, Paul Tonkinson with 24 and Chris Murray with 18. League One, the two top scorers also met there. No, they didn't. Two of the top scorers also met there. Alex Renton beat Stu Kelly 73-68. The next high score was Tim Bresnan, who got a 71 to stuff Frankie, who got a miserable 19. Although that wasn't as miserable as top of the table Jamie Hurst, and also Jamie was in the cup final at the weekend and he got 17.
Oh, that's
Oh,
bad timing.
that's bad.
Yeah, and you might guess he lost the cup final. Lee Nicholson and Rich Pikes both took advantage of Jamie losing, and they won their games. And there were wins at the bottom again for Nigel Clark and Chesney. League table-wise, Jamie Hurst, who was 14 points clear, is now 8 points clear of Rich Pipes. Alex Renton has 52 points. Lee Nicholson 51. Stu Kelly 49. Ben Hope 49, and just following them outside the playoffs is Anton Witter with 45. The bottom 5 is Paul Spence with 38. Then Tim Bresnan in the relegation zone. Nathan Clark 31 points. Chesney 30 and off the bottom for the first time for about 6 months.
Wow.
Well done.
30 points. And Ben Magic, not so Magic Taylor, is bottom now 30 points. Into the championship. The performance of the week was from Ross Millard, who's near the bottom. He got 88. It's a thrashing Andrew Clancy's 45. Lee, you lost to Stu, and you were both relegated last season. 32-43. Not a great score for you either. 32, is it?
No. Big changes coming. Big changes.
Jamie, you beat Rock Bottom Jonas 44-25.
Yeah, Jonas, yeah.
I had a look. Jonas hasn't changed his team since early January, so
he's clearly not playing anymore.
And there were welcome victories at the bottom for Dave Atkins and Swanee. Swanee had 6 players and won.
Good.
And Joe beat Alistair Griffin after they had a little bit of a war of words because Alistair Griffin said the bottom 2 were definitely already down. And then,
you can't be doing that.
He'll regret that.
And then Joe beat him, so he's not definitely down. League table wise, there Jim's well clear still 63. Second is Tim Ward with 54. The playoff places: Stu Dunn 52, Andrew Clancy 51, who's doing what he did last season really when Michelle got promoted instead of him, and now he might miss out again this season. Who knows? Phil Pinder 51, Henry Mullen 50, and just outside there is your mate Cole Lee, who's chasing the playoffs there. At the bottom, Ross Millard 36, Swanee's got 36, and the bottom 3 now is Alistair Griffin 33, Joe Derrick 32, and Jonas 25. Now the Premier League. An 83 saw Rich Archer stuff Neil Martin, who only got 35, and he also won Manager of the Month doing that as well.
Well done.
The leader, Paul Chambers Tonner, lost to Rock Bottom John, and last week he lost to lowly struggling loser Dan.
Pressure. The pressure.
Could I just say, by the way,
No.
I should get some kind of, yes, I can. I should be able to get some kind of bonus points for my giant killing performance. So should John, for that matter. 5 points each for making the top of the table interesting, because he was running away with it. Now he's on a losing streak.
That's Assman logic. That Dan. It works. The Assman works in the actual FPL, but not in this. Maybe that's what they can do next season.
Yeah, and I only just found out about the Assman.
Yeah.
From Steve.
This is true because Dan messaged me the other day to say, "What was the mystery chip?"
I'm sure we talked about the Assman when you were last on this pod.
Oh, you might have done.
I'm wondering what he was thinking about now.
It is awful, though. I hate that chip. It's awful.
I do, yeah.
It is annoying.
Yeah. I played mine
so
straight
I might
away.
still pull one out on the last game of the season with my man chip.
Yeah, you may.
I'm playing my Assman last 3 games. There'll be nothing left to lose at that point.
Nothing, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I wish I'd done that.
Ed's lost to Andrew Chester, last week's guest, and Mark Summerton also lost to Rick Witter, so the top 3 all lost. Chris Duhamel, he beat Steve Taylor, and has now got an outside title chance. And then down at the bottom, when nobody's really bothered about what's going on down there, but Faris lost to Tom Roberts. Dan, you got 21 and lost to Nikolai.
Yeah, I got.
scoring game that one.
I tell you what, thanks Nottingham Forest for being 4-0 up and then still letting in 2 goals. So there was
I
my
know.
clean sheet gone. Cheers,
Yeah.
brilliant, well done you. They should never have been promoted.
I lost to my old rival Adam Devlin, which I knew was going to happen, and I was winning comfortably all weekend again, which I've done quite a few times this season. And he even messaged me before the Man United game, saying, "Well, that wasn't even a close game. I knew you'd win that one." And I said, "I ain't counting any chickens till the final whistle of anything." And then he had Fernandez, who got like 20 points or something.
Yeah.
And he beat me. And Michelle, finally, you lost to Alistair Brooks Ball, but there's no shame in that because he's quite high in the table.
Yeah.
The Premier League is the lowest scoring division. All the other top teams in all the other divisions have got 63, 64 points. In the Premier League, Paul Chambers-Tom is top. He's got 54 points, so we're quite a way off everybody else. Mark Summerton second with 52. Alistair Bruce Ball 51. Tom Roberts 51. Ed Chester's 51. And there's only 9 points between the top of the Premier League and 13th.
Oh,
Yeah. Wow.
It's tight. It's a tight league. It's a killer league this season.
Yeah. It really is a killer league.
And down at the bottom, I don't know if anybody's interested in what's going on down there, but there's a kind of a 7-point gap to where I am. I've got 33 points. Faris has got 30 points. Dan's got 29 points. Michelle has got 28 points. And John Gregory is rock bottom with 24.
Is he Southampton at this point?
You'd think so, yeah, but he did just beat top of the table, so...
Yeah, he's probably not Southampton.
Weird week, though. You can't count this week.
I mean, to be honest, when I look at my result, I sort of think I'm going to lose anyway, so I kind of look at all your results and think, good, they're losing as well.
Good way to look at it.
Such a charmer.
Well,
No,
at least...
if I was Captain Bruno, I would have won, actually, which I did toy with, but just didn't captain him.
The great what-ifs of the FPL.
Yeah, exactly.
I very nearly put Alanga in, but then I switched for somebody else.
Alanga's great. Told you, one of the best signings I made. He doesn't score high every week, but he has a steady turnover every couple of weeks. So yeah, good signing to have. Let's talk about games coming up this weekend. Obviously, there's no FPL. There's no Premier League games. There's no Championship games, which is really depressing for me. But yeah, we're not going to have top 3 games this weekend. We're just going to talk about the England squad and why the hell has he picked Jordan Henderson. Does anyone want to comment on that?
I do know why. I do know why, but that was an insider.
Okay.
So but this was when he was picking him even before, when he's getting picked before, is that Jordan Henderson is apparently the leader of the squad. He is the true captain. And it's just better for the squad all round, it's believed, when he is there. That's what I've been told.
Okay.
Yeah, I can kind of see that, to be honest. I was shocked. He's there for his his presence in the squad and what he brings to it. But if that's what they're doing, why don't they bring him onto the coaching staff?
Yeah, they're going to say, why don't you a coach or something? Yeah.
I mean, there's 50 million hangers on taking video footage around the England squad. Why can't you just be one of them wandering around and having a chat?
I mean, how old is he? It must be 2 years. 2 years since he's played for England, is it?
I was going to say, how old is it? Who's he played for anyway? Full stop.
Someone in Saudi.
Ajax?
Ajax now, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I remember listening to something on TalkSport a couple of weeks ago about him transferring to I think it might have been a French club, and he was quite I don't know, quite vehement about kind of what had gone on, because somebody was interviewing about if he wanted to leave Ajax and whether he was being pushed and what have you. So go back and listen to that. It was
I've seen that.
really
He was having a
interesting.
go at the person who was asking him the question, wasn't he?
Yeah, really
In the press
interesting.
conference.
Kind of
Yeah.
in the kind of the goings on around transfer deadline day.
I remember that. I do remember that. But he's somehow he's in the squad. But do we think England will beat Albania? Do we care? I guess is the other question.
No.
I'm not fussed, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm
we've
not
had
really
this
fussed.
before with England matches. I don't think this group is.
I absolutely hate, with a passion, Jude Bellingham. I think he's the biggest con since I don't know what. yes, everyone goes, yeah, but he scores all these goals. You watch, if you just watch him during a game, the number of bad passes, the number of runs he doesn't make, especially backwards, and the amount of arm waving around if the ball doesn't come to him I don't like him at all.
Michelle, do you support England against Albania, or are you not really bothered?
Yeah, of course. I want England to win.
Cool.
Absolutely. I love the boys, and I think they're very talented. It is a strange squad, but I kind of get it if he wants leaders, and I think I've been told that Jordan Henderson is the key leader of that group.
Okay, good stuff. Well, we were just saying that in the England team outside of major tournaments just kind of leaves us feeling a little bit meh at the moment. But maybe Thomas Tuchel's the man who can get us all excited about it again. Who knows? We shall see.
Hard now, isn't it? I mean,
it is. But yeah, we shall see this coming weekend with over the next week there's 2 games, isn't there, to look forward to. And then, but yeah, I'll be looking forward to non-league football at the weekend. There's some good non-league games going on. York are away at Braintree, I think. Yeah, be a tricky one. In pursuit of promotion and other things. Anyway, let's have a more detailed conversation with yourself, Michelle. We ask a few questions, as we always do, about the football club that you support. So why Arsenal?
I'm from North London, and it was never going to be Spurs, was it? No, I'm only joking. I am from North London, and I did Grange Hill when I was really young, and everyone literally was from that Caledonian Road end, and they were proper gooners. And so as a North Londoner and hanging out with that lot, it was just so easy to support Arsenal. So that was it. I was in.
Good stuff. And what would you? I mean, you must have had many, many highs of supporting them. But is there a pinnacle of your time supporting Arsenal?
I loved. It sounds really weird, but I loved the George Graham Arsenal, and then of course the Arsene Wenger Arsenal. But the George Graham Arsenal, because they were fighters, they weren't necessarily, the most skilled. But then of course, once we did the Invincibles, I had that post. My son had that poster on the wall. Yeah, Thierry Henry. But I listen. Everyone loves Thierry Henry, but I know Nicolas Anelka took my breath away. Nicolas Anelka.
Right.
That he was just magical. It's such a shame that he's never quite reached his potential, but that guy was just superb, Anelka. But I still used to love my Tony Adams and my my Ray Parlers, and it's so weird, isn't it? You still love the stalwarts, the kind of gritty defenders, and then Vieira as well. Patrick Vieira, oh my God, what a wonderful player and man, and just completely different. He's very graceful off the pitch. This sounds weird, but I would not say he's got an aggressive bone in his body. If you meet him off the pitch, and then on the pitch, it's like it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't compute. But what a guy.
Whereas Roy Keane's probably the opposite. You think he's going to punch you wherever you are. Just looks aggressive.
He does, yeah. Whereas Vieira is the complete opposite. Yeah. So genteel.
Total legend as well.
Yeah.
And what would you say? What have your lows been of your time support? What's the lowest of lows supporting Arsenal?
Well, the one time I remember crying is West Ham beat us 1-0 Wembley FA Cup. Was it Trevor Brooking that scored, or Trevor? It's one of the Trevors.
Okay.
Trevor Francis, I think it might have been. Right. My God, I actually cried. So that's when I remember. And then I was actually at Barcelona as well. So at the Champions League final. So I was actually there. And
So it felt like it was on for a bit, didn't it?
For a little bit. Yeah, and then Lehman and then Eto'o. Like you could see it happening. And then my son cried we were in Paris, obviously, and my son cried all the way back to the hotel. It was, honestly, it was a wretched night, honestly.
Mm. Yeah. My wife's an Arsenal fan. Well, I say part-time now, but the game that put her off for good, I think, was when they lost to Birmingham City in the League Cup final.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she was
That was
massively
it. She's
upset
done.
that day. She was like, "This club wind me up." I was like, "You want to support Middlesbrough?"
Yeah.
Chill. but
Remember,
yeah,
I went to the Monaco game once as well, and that really made me angry that I've come all the way here and you've let them beat you. Like, that's probably the angriest I've been. Like Barcelona, you kind of, you can see that happening.
yeah,
But Monaco, I mean, that was probably my lowest point with them. Just like, I'm done with you.
yeah. But do you get to the Emirates much?
Not that much because I was doing the Potter, and so I could go to the odd game if I had. But my neighbour's a season ticket holder, and sometimes he gives me a season ticket. But I don't like to go without the kids.
Yeah.
So it's that ballot. I hate the ballot system. The way it was before, you just had to be first one in line, and I'm that person. I'd be up an hour, like checking in like an hour before, so I click in. I definitely get the ticket. Whereas now they say it's fairer for the people who don't want to get up and wait in the line, but I find it really awful, the ballot system. So I haven't been this season, but usually go a few games a season.
Yeah. Good stuff. But yeah, I can imagine it must be really hard to support a big club. Like at Middlesbrough, I can go pretty much anything I want, to be fair. But yeah, having that kind of ballot system must be a bit frustrating.
Do you have any memory of York City beating Arsenal, Michelle?
No, I don't.
Steve
I
does.
don't remember that. When was this?
I don't think anyone remembers that.
1985 FA Cup.
Somehow it missed me.
Fourth round, 1-0. Keith Houchin, last minute.
No. Clearly clinging on to that though, Steve, you know.
Cries of Charlie Nicholas is a banker,
Oh,
I think it was.
great old Charlie. Do you remember the Charlie Nicholas days? Oh my God, what a lad. Oh my God. He just came and it just had the time of his life. Him and there was a guy called Darney from West Ham. Do you remember him? The most handsome footballer of all time.
Yeah.
He came to West Ham and all he did was go out and go partying, and then it's like he's just got to go.
Yeah,
It's a bit like Charlie Nicholas, wasn't it?
If you look on iPlayer, there's a documentary about Charlie Nicholas and how he was kind of the
he was just a lad,
the George Best of his time, if you like.
Yeah, he was just a lad. Yeah, I know. Oh well.
Anyway, it happened in 1985.
Yeah,
You probably erased it from your memory.
Every now and again.
You can remember a disappointing cup final from the early 80s. You can remember a mid-80s cup shock.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I couldn't remember that one. The West Ham one, I remember crying. I was really young.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I'm sure will find some footage on YouTube that you can send to you.
Trevor Brooking scoring.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the Trevors.
Right. Good stuff. Shall we talk about homework? We ask everyone to do their homework, Michelle, and have some questions for you. So I've got a couple of questions to kick off, and then we'll go around the panel to see what homework they've been doing. So first question is what would you say, in your opinion, is the best designed football stadium in the Football League?
Oh no, why have you done this to me?
I mean, it's a weak link throughout all the episodes. It's the reason why I'm asking this question.
One of several.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to happen.
I just want to hear Michelle's answer. Come on, Michelle.
I mean, you don't have to say Tottenham.
But it is. I mean, I love the Emirates, but Tottenham's stadium is. I mean, because White Hart Lane was so appalling. I used to laugh at it all the time. It used to be one of my joys of, it's so shit. But their stadium's great. It really
great
is.
Stadium, superb. Shit team there.
Yeah, it really is superb, that stadium.
Yeah, I've seen loads of people recently doing that walk at the top of the stadium. I don't
Yeah.
know why. There's a lot of people I know have suddenly decided to do that and share all the videos on Instagram and stuff, but it's far too high for me. I wouldn't be doing that.
Scared of heights. That's no good.
Yeah, the view across. I can't imagine it's something you would ever sign up to do, though, Michelle. I don't think you'd be up for going for a walk
I
across
would
the
never
top
give
of
Spurs
White
any
Hart.
glory. They'll make a
Exactly.
DVD about that. They'll make a
Yeah.
DVD about people walking across their blooming stadium, won't they?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
highlights of that. I mean, no, I'd never give them any glory whatsoever. I just go there under, under duress
Yes.
sometimes, and that's it.
Good stuff. That makes sense. That makes sense. Lots of people when they talk about years ago, they talk about artists that have been on Top of the Pops and sneaking onto the EastEnders set. Did you used to do the opposite? Did you ever sneak into the Top of the Pops set when on EastEnders?
I didn't used to sneak onto the top of the pop set, but I used to let the people who snuck onto our set, like we used to kind of give them tours that we weren't allowed to give them and kind of hide them and show them around and get in trouble for that.
Good stuff. And did you ever meet any like really interesting artists from the Top of the Pops set?
Yeah. Loads. I mean, who didn't I mean? Like, you talk about when I was actually on Top of the Pops or on
When
EastEnders
you were
or
on
both.
EastEnders, possibly both. Yeah. But I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
I've seen Elton John have a tantrum. It was a brilliant tantrum as well. It was so
Oh.
lovely.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
go on,
one of
go
my
for it.
favourite tantrums of
Explain
all
why.
Right,
time.
Tell
let's
us
have
why.
it, Michelle.
Are
You
you
can't
allowed
No,
to
it was
tell us why?
beautiful. It was
Tell us.
beautiful. No, I love him so much. It's such a beautiful tantrum. Um, and no, it was because for some unknown reason, Top of the Pops has taken a really long time. They kept re-recording stuff, and he was in line, and he went, "That's it, I've had enough." And it's a really long corridor, and he stormed up the corridor and said he's going. And he's storming up this corridor, and then the guy that works for the record company chased after him and said, "Please, Elton, please, please, I'll get sacked." And he went, "Okay, just for you." And he turned back round and stormed. It was brilliant.
But
I love him.
all these years later, we now realise it's because you were in the audience with the technology. Probably is the reason why it kept going wrong.
Yeah.
Have you considered that now?
I love him. And who else have I met? I've met Robert. I introduced The Cure. I love The Cure. That was like lovely.
Yeah, brilliant.
Nice.
I met the boys, Noel and Liam, but I don't know if I first met them on Top of the Pops. Maybe I've introduced them before. I think. Who else have I met? I introduced the Scream video. I did the first ever the debut of the Scream video. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson. I introduced that.
Cool.
So I had fun on Top of the Pops. You always had a laugh on. You did have a laugh on Top of the Pops, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. It was just one.
And you had a laugh at EastEnders because I was young and we really were messing about a lot.
Yeah. Who were your best mates on EastEnders?
Sid Owen and
Yeah.
Daniela Westbrook and Nicholas Stapleton, and we used to get in trouble a lot.
What kind of things would you do?
Like driving the cars off the lot, and they've got very little petrol, and then they'd break down, and like really stupid stuff. And then once Sid took the milk float, and we were in the back of it, and he took a corner so fast that it tilted. But he managed to tilt us back up so he didn't fall on its side. But he did get suspended, I think, for that one. Because it was like they were like, "Mate, this is you guys have got to chill." So yeah, we were having fun.
Good. So you should know. It sounds very, very good. And last question for me before we go on. Do you want to tell us a little bit about? I mentioned it at the start of the episode about the world reimagined. Do you want to say a little bit?
It's very much a program about people acknowledging our cultural and historical ties, the world reimagined. So our first project really was about teaching people about transatlantic enslavement and how the repercussions are still present today. But it's an art project, so we wanted to bring everyone into the conversation so you could take little parts of it, little messages of it, and realize that now that you know the truth, how do you see the world going forward? And then this second project is all about unifying people. So we call it the Triangle of Unity, and we teach people and discuss just how culturally and historically we're connected. And there's so many cultural ties with cities, like from cities in Britain that are directly tied to cities in the Americas, even sometimes just their namesakes or things that were the things that were made in Britain that were sent there, and so we're just trying to let people realize that we're forever connected in it because of the negative that happened, but it's like, how do we turn that into a positive by recognizing our connections and doing events and learning programs and innovative ideas that actually bring the ties in a positive one.
Excellent. That sounds fascinating. Shall we? Who's done the homework then? Who's got questions for? I can see Lee's clapping his hands. He's ready. He's geared up for his question for Michelle.
Always. I don't want the board rubber at my head, do I? So I've got 3 things today. So first of all, congratulations on the doctorate.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I know it was a while ago, but say that. Secondly, my nephew, he's got ADHD and he's set up a hobby store and he buys and sells trading cards. So I'm going to send that to you. I'll do it via Steve or whatever. It's quite a nice.
Wow.
Acker graded 10. So I'll get that sent out to you. And my question is
it Charlie Nicholas?
we were talking in the WhatsApp chat this week last week about risk assessment. So if you were gonna,
oh my gosh,
if you were going to risk assess your career, what would be the riskiest thing you've done?
I've done loads of risky things. So I suppose it was a big risk to leave Eastenders because it's it's a banker, isn't it? You know what you're going to get financially. And I left that to do music, and everyone thought, oh my gosh, we could be making a terrible mistake. So I think that was quite risky. But other than that, I think just going into entertainment in itself is a risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a risky job. There's no, your life does seriously turn on a dime.
Right.
So you just have to kind of roll with the punches with that career.
Real?
Great stuff. But a lot of fun, I'm sure. Well,
yeah, it's amazing.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great stuff. Thank you, Dan. I'm conscious that this Friday morning you've got places to be, people to see. So you've got a question.
It's nearly light out, so I've got to get a move on.
Yeah.
All right. I never do my homework, but you mentioned North London. So as a one-time fellow North Londoner, shout out to East Finchley.
Oh, you live quite near me. That's not far from me.
Where are you? Muswell Hill, Crouch End?
I'm Hampstead near Golders Hill Park.
Ooh,
I'm near Golders
fancy.
Hill Park. Yeah,
yes, very nice.
Yeah,
all
so
right.
It's not far.
If you had to go out for a really good meal in North London, what would your guaranteed hit be?
You got to say the Coffee Cup because it's the old cafe. It's very dark. You can get a plate of pasta there that's absolute class, top rate, for like £10,
That's
£8
right.
or something. It's unbelievable. So I'd always say go to the Coffee Cup if you want great food at a really affordable price point. Because their restaurant next door you'll get the same pasta from the same chef for double the money for the ambience. So just go to the Coffee Cup is what I'd say.
Nice one.
Excellent
tip.
Good one. Dan, is that you then? Are you heading off this Friday morning? Should we say a farewell to you?
Yes. And it means I won't try and answer all the questions in the quiz.
Yeah, the quiz is coming. Stay tuned, folks.
It was lovely to be on with you, Michelle.
And you, Dan. Nice lilac shirt. Bye.
Yes, bye.
Take care, mate.
Yeah. Cool. That is Dan off to do something fun this Friday morning. I know how much Steve loves me referring to Friday mornings on these podcasts. So we'll have you got a question? Have you got a homework question, or have we got any listeners' questions?
We don't have any listeners' questions
that's
this
a
week,
shame.
I'm afraid.
That's a shame.
No, it's the relegation battle's too tense for anything like that. Have I got a question? I'll go with. So you've done acting, singing, presenting, and your charity work you're doing now. What's in the future for you?
I think the charity is as far as I can see, really. Although I do write as well, and I am working on stuff that I hope will come to TV in the next 3 years. But the charity path next program is until 2027. So I suppose that's almost as far as I can think ahead in parallel with some of the stuff I'm writing. So I think 2027 is going to be like quite a peak year for me. But then I can't see past that really. I just try to not look too far ahead.
You're kind of open to anything. If Eastenders come knocking again, did you leave Eastenders in a taxi, or did you meet
Yeah,
a
I did.
horrible
I
end?
left in a taxi. I definitely
No.
left in a taxi. It would depend. I would never say no to EastEnders, but I wouldn't want to be there for like 3 years or something. So
Yeah.
if they came and said this is the storyline and this is going to happen, then yeah, I'm sure I would.
So where's your character supposedly living now? Did you move
Norwich, I
abroad?
believe. Norwich, I
Norwich,
think.
lovely.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Took a taxi to Norwich.
It'd be great if, as an ex-soap character or an existing soap character that's not in the show, you could write your own future or history, if you like,
Yeah.
of your character. So if someone asked you, you could make up a whole scenario of what they're up to right now.
Yeah, what I was doing in Norwich, why I'm coming back to the
Yeah.
square.
What would that be if you could make that up right now? What would your character be doing?
I think Hattie would be running some pub, hotel, restaurant type place.
Yeah.
You know one of those nice places like
Yeah.
Chester has them, York has them.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like a bit all in one, but really beautiful. I think that's what
Cool.
you'd be doing with the
Nice.
really ace food.
Good.
What
stuff.
do you think Fresh and Fly would be doing now?
Oh my gosh! So she'd still be, I think, writing some rap somewhere because she was so passionate about rap, a bit like me. Yeah. She
Awesome.
loves her rap. She'll be definitely siding with Kendrick Lamar on the battle. I think that's what she'll be doing. She'll be tweeting about Kendrick Lamar.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. So that is all the questions from us. But we're now going to do some Sing When You're in Superfan. What's your footballing knowledge? I have a feeling your footballing knowledge will be very good.
I don't think it's good at all. I
No?
don't. Let's see.
No. Well, yeah, we're about to find out because each week we're going to test our guest footballing knowledge, see how many questions you can get correct in 90 seconds. Now, the score to beat, should you want to be top of the tree, is 7.
Okay.
And Jim is flying high on 7. There's a few on 6. And if you score 1, you'll be kind of in good company. 1 and above is what you're looking for.
You'll be second from bottom that you used to.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, I have a feeling that you'll score at least 1, so I wouldn't worry. But we use ChatGPT on the quiz, so sometimes it throws up questions that are nonsense. So I'll be looking to everyone to call it out if I ask a question which is rubbish, which sometimes happens. If we do that, we'll edit those questions out and play on. Steve does the timer for 90 seconds, and at the end of 90 seconds, he will shout something out related to this week's conversation, which remains a secret.
Yeah, I've got a couple of options.
Right, he's got a couple of options. Yeah. And like just as in Mastermind, we'll do. I've started, so I finished. Have you ever been on Celebrity Mastermind out of interest?
I have. I came second.
There
I
you
came
go.
second actually.
Oh, that's good.
What was your chosen specialist subject?
Def Jam.
Ah, okay. So let's see if your football knowledge is as good as your Def Jam knowledge. We'll find out. And Lee will be keeping score, so he'll have his fingers in the air while we're going on as well. So is that all clear?
Yes. Yep.
Good stuff. Right, we'll start. The time will start when I ask the first question. So, which manager won the FA Cup with Wigan Athletic in 2013?
Roberto Martinez.
That's correct. Yes. In which stadium was the 2018 FA Cup final held?
Cardiff Millennium Stadium.
Wasn't it? It was Wembley Stadium. I thought that might have been a bit of a tricky one. Who was the top scorer for England during the 2014 World Cup?
2014. That was Harry Kane.
It wasn't. It was Daniel Sturridge, apparently.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, apparently. Which player scored the winning goal in England's 4-2 victory over Germany in the 2019 Women's World Cup?
Was it Chloe?
It was
Chloe.
Ellen White,
Oh,
apparently.
okay.
We've got which club won the Premier League title on the final day of the 2011-2012 season?
That was Man City.
It was Man City. Who scored the winning goal in the 1994 FA Cup final for Manchester United?
1994.
You can pass if you don't know.
Brian Robson.
It was Eric Cantona,
Okay.
who is the all-time top scorer for Liverpool. I don't know if this is true, but
All-time top scorer.
Shooby-doop, shooby-doop.
Is it not Robbie Fowler?
it isn't. According to this, it's Ian Rush.
Oh, that could be right.
Yeah, it could be right. Yeah, for some reason I thought it's someone as Sebastian, but yes. So how many? I think you did all right there, Lee.
No, I
What was
didn't.
the score? 2.
Yeah.
Two's
It's
all
all
right.
right.
2
I'll
is
take-
all right. And you've got
I'll take
balloons as
2.
well. You've got balloons on screen as well. I don't know if you saw that. But
I'll
yes,
take 2.
there's quite a lot of you. Dan, who's raced off this Friday morning, he got 2. You're also in good company. We've had Tim Bresnan, he got 2. Nige from Dodgy, he got 2. Andy got 2. Yeah, it's quite a few of you. So no disgrace in that whatsoever.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's have a quick update on Bletchley Scott. Do you know all about the sponsorship of Bletchley Scott, Michelle?
Yeah, Carl Stewart's team.
Yeah, Carl's team.
With
yeah,
the lovely
yeah.
fetching orange shirts.
Yes, which Lee is showing off right now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There we go. All good stuff. Well, they were playing Olney Town Colts at the weekend, who I was bigging them up this time last week and saying that they'd previously beaten them in the season. So how do we think Bletchley got on with Olney Town Colts?
1-2-0.
Anyone else?
I'm going to say they got beat with that introduction.
Yeah, I mean, the intro was kind
Yeah,
of
it was a
bleeding a
bit
little
of-
bit,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it means that they lost 3-1.
Oh, unlucky close. It was 4-1.
Okay.
4-1. So yes, sadly they've not got back to their winning ways, and they're playing MK Wanderers this weekend, who beat them fairly comfortably earlier on in the season. So after going through a bit of a sticky patch, Bletchley Scott, but we'll keep saying, "Come on, Bletchley."
Come
on,
Hopefully they can
Bletchley.
have a decent, and they haven't got many more games left before the end of the season, but continuing to support them and follow at Bletchley Scott FC on Instagram for more updates. So we're gonna round off this week's pod as we do every week now with a bit of Shooting Stars. Did you used to read Shoot and Match magazine, Michelle? Was that something that you would be found reading backstage
No.
at Eastenders or anything? No.
No,
read-
didn't
you
used to
didn't-
read them.
Looking and
Yeah, were you more
Chelsea Girl
looking?
and
Yeah,
I was
remember
reading Just
looking.
17.
yeah, just 17. Yeah.
17. I remember looking quite a lot. But yes, thanks to Frankie Francis on a recent episode of this podcast. He's brought this forward. So Shooting Stars, each week we would normally just ask questions that previously, it's like player profiles that you would get in like Heat magazine, as was Shoot and Match magazine. But we're going to do Shooting Stars with a twist. So it's Shooting Stars in their eyes. So could you pick an Arsenal player?
It's got to be Charlie
like,
Nicholas.
and answer the following questions as if you were any Arsenal footballer. It could be Charlie Nicholas if you want. It could be anyone.
I've got answered the question as if I'm the player.
You're that player, yes. So who would you choose to be? Imagine you can go back in time and imagine you're them, and then answer some random questions asked by a football journalist at the time.
Oh my goodness, who would I choose? Let's go for Tony Adams.
Tony Adams, right, brilliant. So tonight, Matthew, you are Tony Adams on Shooting Stars in Their Eyes. So first question for you.
Where else do you get that?
Exactly. Come on, you can't knock this. You can't knock this at all. Original content. It's original content, Steve. So Tony, what would you do if you could be invisible for a day?
Well, depends which iteration of Tony Adams I am. But the old Tony Adams would go to the pub knowing that none of the fans would grass him up.
Yes, good one. And yeah, this would have been kind of late 80s, early 90s, circa
Yeah.
Tony Adams. So Tony, what if anything frightens you? I can't imagine that much does frighten you, Tony.
No, nothing frightens me.
Nothing like that. Outside of football, what is the biggest risk you have ever taken, Tony?
What is the biggest risk you took? Good one. What's the biggest risk? I suppose that the night I went out drinking all night and turned up to play.
Yeah.
Football.
Did you win?
Hoping the gaffer didn't know
Yeah.
that I'd been drinking all night.
If you'd been invisible, you'd got away with that. You'd have got away with
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Exactly. So Tony, have you ever been mistaken for someone else?
Never. There's only one Tony Adams.
Yeah, I like it. And if you were on Mastermind, what would your specialist subject be?
Arsenal.
Of course. And Tony, bear in mind this is around 1980s. What's your favourite cartoon character?
Danger Mouse.
Yeah, another one for Danger Mouse. He's had a few.
Did you not like Danger Mouse?
Yeah,
brilliant.
Quite a lot of people say Danger Mouse.
Popular.
It's great. That was amazing.
Yeah, popular choice. He was the greatest. He was fantastic and all of that. And which actor would you most like to play you in a movie?
Robert De Niro, obviously.
I could imagine De Niro playing Tony
Definitely
Adams.
Tony Adams.
Very good. And the final question that we ask everybody in this feature, Tony, what was the first car you bought and how much did it cost?
Ford Capri, mate.
Yes.
At last.
We have waited 33 episodes for somebody to say Ford Capri. The small thing, people. It's like you've hit the jackpot. It's like
Winner! Lee, you must have some bubbles for that or something.
Yeah.
What is no one
There we go. We've got fireworks and everything at Ford Capri. Thank you so much, Tony Adams, for being our guest on Shooting Stars in Their Eyes. Very, very good. Well, thank you very much, Michelle, for spending some time with us this week. And good luck with the rest of the season. Although I think Dan, who's now gone, and Steve probably they might be glad to see you down there. But me and Lee will wish you good luck because we're down in the
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'll take it.
And they both got relegated last year, Michelle, so you could get advice if you like.
Hey, hopefully I won't get a double relegation. That's all I'm hoping
You
for.
won't.
I think I'm a win away from mid-table mediocrity.
There you go. Take
So
that.
That's
I will.
all we can dream of.
Hey, it's just like supporting my own football club in real life. But yes, remember you can follow us on Twitter at SWYW_FPL. That double underscore is very important. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave us a comment, ask us an FPL question, and we might even discuss it in next week's show, where we'll be joined by another top guest who will remain a surprise because Steve likes it to remain a surprise for everyone, which is good. But yeah, thanks, Michelle. Good luck with the rest of the season. Thank you to Steve, to Lee. Thanks to Dan, who's already raced off. Enjoy your footballing week. Keep on singing and keep on winning. Goodbye.
Bye.